throw right there. Not much doubt he was going to get whistled for the over-the-back call.
And no good on the second free throw, so he goes 0 for 2 there. And there's the foul. It'll go on Nikola Mirotic. That's his third foul so far. Bonus situation in effect, so we'll head to the free throw line for 2.
Well, they've been shooting their free throws with confidence and knocking them down. That's giving them an edge, no question about it.
And here's Rose outside. Got it off in time, but it's no good. So we've reached the end of the first half of play. Raptors lead by 9. And we'll be back for the second half following the break. Keep it right here on 2K Sports. And now the third quarter about to get going. Kind of like what Derrick Rose has done in this game.
It's as if he can get to the rim any time he wants. And in that first half, he wanted to quite a bit.
And that's where his points were coming from. I mean, the defense has to do a much better job of challenging him at the rim.
The star pair of Lowry and DeRozan are the guards. Patterson is the 4 with Valanciunas in the middle. And it's Carroll in at the 3. So that's the 5 in the game for Toronto. And last year, not exactly up to Noah's lofty standards. Was way down in field goal percentage and free throw percentages compared to the season before, but he did not play completely healthy all of last year either.
A little dinged up, missed 13 games more than he had the season prior, and also the minutes dropped as well, and you could just see him laboring at times on the floor, clearly affected by those injuries.
And count it, the shot is good. He'll go to the free throw line. Thing about DeMar DeRozan, he came into the league fairly unpolished, struggled to handle the ball, created in his own shot, and but sometimes he would create for others too.
Yeah.
But he's settled down. You can see the growth.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. You could see the physical talent was there in terms of him playing the 2. The question was, could he make the commitment mentally to become a great player? Well, from what he's done the last few years, I would have to say he's definitely been able to do that.
Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over. In addition to going over the game plan and making whatever necessary adjustments have to be made, Greg, this timeout also the time for players to get rehydrated or hydrate for the first time with some Gatorade. Plenty of basketball still to be played here, and they have to get recharged.
It's a great point. Without proper hydration, a player can completely run out of gas down the stretch of a game, and that's something that none of these guys can afford to have happen. If you're going to battle all the way to the finish, you have got to be hydrated.
Gasol's checked in for Chicago. Ejuan Moore comes in for Taj Gibson. Bulls trail by 14.
And, you know, getting back to DeRozan, he's put a spit shine on his offense. Over the past 2 seasons, averaged over 20 points a game, was also good for 3 or 4 assists, showing everybody how work ethic can overcome unrefined skills.
Rose dishes to Mirotic. It's good. This time the assist from Rose.
Great opportunity right there. He's got such tremendous length. He can just rise up and get separation for the 3.
And Lowry gets it to go.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
And on the flip side, Greg, the defenders have to show more fight on the interior. They've got to offer more resistance here.
Mirotic gets the bucket.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job of the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
Rose against Lowry. To the inside. Patterson.
Kyle Lowry with a beautiful setup.
Bulls trail by 13. Rose kicks to Moore. From deep three-point range. And again, it's the Bulls from deep.
I tell you what, he has quite the act to follow, but Fred Hoiberg was a quick choice for the Brass in Chicago. Signed that 5-year deal over the summer, was easily one of the most in-demand coaches available.
And it's a completely new group for Toronto. And the foul is called. He intentionally grabbed him there for some reason, I don't know.
Kevin, all I can think of is that he's trying to slow the game down a little bit. That's a stretch, though. Definitely a strange move on his part.
Chicago calls timeout.
And the Raptors have been talking about changing things up in the logo department for a while. Finally, we get a chance to see the new logo this season.
A new group in now for the Raptors. Valanciunas, who's checked in for Bismack Biyombo. Patterson comes in for Luis Scola. Damari Carroll's checked in for Ross. And it's Lowry in for Joseph. The Bulls also changing it up. Joakim Noah's checked in for Gasol. Gibson comes in for Mirotic. And Brooks subbed in for Derrick Rose. And that goes out of bounds. Last touch by Carroll. Bulls ball. As you said, the Raptors with the new logo this year, Greg. Good-looking change, too, I think, Clark.
Yeah, I think it's subtle enough to not lose the continuity, but still feel fresh and new. I like that. That's a nice job of balancing the old with freshening up for the new.
Here's Lowry. Back to Valanciunas. Here's Powell. No good on the triple. Bulls trail by 10. And Butler, here we go. It's stolen by Carroll. Powell, the pass to Valanciunas. And they go to the intentional foul.
Yeah, not sure what that was about. I mean, talk about a brain cramp.
Yeah, yeah, completely a brain fade. I don't know where that came from. Just lost sense of time and the situation.
Toronto working the ball around now. And again, Toronto no luck. The Bulls have gone 3 of 5 to start the second half, developing a nice rhythm out there. Brooks misses.
That's the kind of D you need when he's got the ball near the hoop. They were all over him.
And here comes Moore, leading the fast break. We've gone about 3.5 minutes into the third now. Butler attacking. And a miss there with a chance to cut the lead to single digits. On up the court. And the dunk by Valanciunas.
No doubt that is within his range.
Well, I would hope so. He's a pro, and it was only a 1-footer. Come on now.
Noah dishes to Brooks. Good, and a nice assist from Noah. Brooks has got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball.
In the first half, they didn't shoot nearly as many threes. But finding themselves down now, they've started to cast up a lot more triples. Excellent. Really solid job, actually, by the defense to get in his way as he was going up for that one.
And Moore kicks to Brooks. Feeds it to Gibson. Butler passes to Moore. Back to Butler. Butler missing again.
And another miss. Ooh, he's having a really ugly game.
Yeah, about as ugly as you can have, you're right.
And they've looked terrific in transition today. That's had a lot to do with their success.
Boy, it certainly has. I mean, they've done a really good job recognizing anytime they've had the numbers advantage, and then they've taken advantage. We've seen it time and time again here.
No good from Moore. And here we go. Here's Valanciunas. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. It's the Raptors up 11. And we'll have the start of the fourth quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break. And we're getting underway here in the fourth quarter. The scoreboard tells the story in this matchup, but we'll see how much things change up here.
And no doubt last season the Bulls were clearly preparing for the playoffs. They played their rookies but added a lot of playoff seasoned veterans to that roster.
Toronto calls timeout. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Yes, Kevin. Dwayne Casey was just going over the plan with his team. He said we are this close to finishing them off, but the job is not done yet, and I don't want to see any let-up out there. We'll see how well his point got across, guys.
On the court for the Bulls, getting this fourth quarter started. Gibson is the 4 with Gasol at the 5. Rose is out there with Doug McDermott, and it's Mirotic in at the 3 spot. Second chance shot. Can't get it to go. Excellent D there for Scola. As you mentioned, the Bulls added veteran leaders last season. Pau Gasol was the notable one. 11 goals, Clark, had playoff experience prior to their postseason run a season ago.
And that's invaluable, Kevin, to have that kind of experience. I mean, having Gasol, 2-time champion in the locker room, big, as is having almost a dozen guys who understand the intensity and the details that playoff basketball require.
Rosen dishes to Scola. It's hauled in by the Bulls. Gasol's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Rose with the ball. Picked up by Joseph. Lets it go with a 3. Luis Scola with the rebound.
Can't get anything to drop. I mean, the way he's going, it's probably not something he should try and shoot his way out of.
Well, they say you should shoot your way out of it, but his teammates probably have other thoughts in mind. The last thing they want to see him doing is continuing to cast that jumper up.
Time called here, and the Bulls decide to talk it over.
And really, the Bulls weathered a lot of injuries last season and still had a good showing in the East. Came away with the 3 seed when many thought.
And Gibson kicks to Mirotic. Back to Gibson. And stolen by Biyombo. Here's DeRozan. Good from the moment it left his hand. That makes him 10 for 14. And an important part of every team's game, a look at the hustle stats for the Raptors.
Their high-energy defensive effort has paid off for them, guys, with more than a few steals over the course of the ballgame.
Yeah, but they've also done a great job of playing in space, getting out in transition every opportunity. They just can't miss. Everything they put up, it seems, goes in.
You know, sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield. They are certainly the bugs tonight. Nothing going their way.
And I'm not even sure that I'd want to be the windshield.
No, maybe the windshield wiper.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. And the Bulls did end up with the 3rd seed in the East. 33 of their 50 wins last year, Clark, coming in the Eastern Conference.
But it wasn't an even distribution of those wins for the Bulls. Against their own division in the Southeast, they played .500 basketball. They got their good in-conference record from feasting on the Atlantic teams, taking 16 wins in 18 games against that division.